Denver Broncos Mile High View, no commercials, never any bullshit. So the Broncos are 2-1. If you talk to Kool-Aid crowd, of course they're 2-1. You know, they're just taking the NFL by storm. But the rest of Broncos country and the rest of the NFL knows that the Denver Broncos have been flirting with an 0-3 start. One of the nicest surprises for us, one of the Broncos' biggest critics, has been their run-stopping ability. And a big reason for that, and I think one of the biggest unsung heroes who's really anchoring that run-stop defense is DJ Jones. That was our best, our projected best player that the Broncos picked up in the offseason. And we believe, after watching the film, Colby's breaking down the defensive film, that DJ Jones has really been a big, has really become a factor that has made the Denver Broncos go the next level on stopping the run. Stearns has actually done a really good job replacing Justin Simmons in that run stop defense. But today is going to be, the film study is going to be about the passing game, what's gone wrong. The last two games I actually focused on the defense. So I can't attest to what's happened in the last two games with the passing game. This time I specifically am targeting Russell Willson, the offensive line, Hackett, wide receivers. Who's to blame? The Broncos in San Francisco played what I called the Bolin Bowl because it was Pat Bolin who gave us Sunday Night Football. It's almost as if there was a quarterback jamming frequency out there that both quarterbacks, they couldn't hit the side of a barn. Jimmy G, in my opinion, was really the biggest guilty culprit, and he was just horrible. Matter of fact, there was just one play that he had a receiver, I think it was 19, he was so wide open that there's no way he could, if he hit him, it would have been a sure touchdown. And that alone would have won the game for the San Francisco 49ers, but that was just one of many, really. And here's the thing, too. If you want to go and say the Broncos' pass rush was great, well, when you got a quarterback that refuses to throw to open receivers and hangs onto the ball too long, it's going to make anybody's pass rush look good. But that guy left a lot on the field. But with that said, again, that's their problem. That's not the Broncos' problem. But the big question is what's going on with the passing game for the Denver Broncos. This is going to be a film study it's going to be a series, the entire first half series. And I believe that pretty much is indicative of what continued into the second half until they got the chinks out or whatever and accidentally won the game. Like I said before, which team was going to accidentally win the game. So I believe that the guilty party is Russell Willson in this, more so than anything else. And I'll get into that in this film study. But what I think that it's something that he should be able to adjust. He should be able to clean up. I believe it's timing. I believe that there are major timing issues with this guy. I also would like to see him step up into the pocket and not just run and start scrambling. The offensive line did have some breakdowns, but not enough that you could say, well, they were constantly breaking down, both in the red zone and with running plays as well. So, without further ado, let me just get into this. Okay, the first pass play is a 3rd and 8. And ideally, you would want to go to the receiver on the right, but your right guard is getting pushed back and containment is broken before this guy can make his turn. So Willson has to scramble. In this case, this really is ideally that you don't want to go to where the receiver at the 50 here on the right is breaking, but there is this offensive line just can't give him the protection, so he has to go to the safety valve. You got 3 defenders at the down marker, so they'll give you this all day long. In my film studies of Russell Willson during the offseason, I had this observation that was just sticking in the back of my head, thinking that Willson kind of locks on certain receivers. He's not in my opinion, a spread the ball out kind of guy, and I think he needs to do that coming to Denver. I know he likes Cortland Sutton, and you know what? I get feeding the ball to somebody, but there's just times you got to know when it's just not the right time, and here we have one of those times. Cortland Sutton is obviously not the guy to throw to. He's being covered like a blanket. Here at the right side of the field, you got two options that you can go to. It's 2nd and 7. Just make it easy on yourself. Make those, you throw to one of these guys, and you may even be able to run a running play. Just a bad decision by Russell Wilson on a 2nd and 7. One thing I've noticed with Russell Wilson since the beginning of the season, there seems not to be a read the defense with this guy. It's like, I know where I'm going to go, and boom, I'm going to throw it there. A quick throw, sometimes not a quick throw. Sometimes I'm just going to try to wait because it's that one throw I want to throw. In this particular play, the offensive line, I guess it's a good thing because the offensive line just gets manhandled and it just starts collapsing really quick. So it's a really quick throw, a little too quick, I think. He needs to kind of settle it down. It's a dirt ball to the tight end, so it is what it is. Basically, it's the throw he should have threw on the last down, the last passing down. Shannon Sharp called out Jerry Jeudy this week, and even though I've been a critic of Jerry Jeudy, I really don't, after watching the film, think that was justified. Jerry Jeudy did have a boneheaded false start, but everybody is allowed to make a mistake as long as they don't keep making it. This turns out to be kind of another trips right type of a play, and this is going to be a throw to Jeudy. I believe the throw is late, and I've been noticing that with Russell Wilson. He tends to throw late. He should be throwing the ball sooner. There should be better anticipation. Again, we're hoping that we'll see that in time, that this timing thing you will get taken care of, but here, Jerry Jeudy, does this little crossing route, drag route kind of a thing, and it's just late. It's behind Jeudy, and it's just a bad throw. Is what it is. All right, this is what it looks like when everything is clicking. It's a 1st and 10 down at the Broncos 6. First thing you do is you make them think you're going to run it. I love it when they do that because it would be the logical thing to do. So we make the linebacking of San Francisco think, oh, yep, they're going to run it. Oh, no, we're not. Wilson makes his adjustment in the pocket, but the blocking is superb. He doesn't have to worry about the defensive line. He can set his feet, rolls to the proper place where he needs to make the throw, and boom, hits Cortland Sutton in stride. That is textbook. That's the way you need to do it. We need more of it. All of those combinations working. Okay, 1st and 10 at the 40. Now, in my opinion, this is the crux of the problem with what's going on with Russell Wilson. I think this play really encapsulates it all. The offensive line actually does a really good job blocking. My guess is that Russell Wilson, he's not sure when Cortland Sutton is. He wants to go to Cortland Sutton all the way. That's apparent in this. Again, targeting one receiver, but justifiably, I get it. He gives up on it. And I think my only reason is that he's not sure when he's going to make his cut. So what I mean by giving up on Russell Wilson's part, it's his footwork. He takes his footwork out of a deep ball. He can't throw it deep because his feet aren't, he's not in the proper stance to throw it deep. In my opinion, again, this is where you get Brady ball versus Wilson. He is adjusting his feet. There's no way he can make this throw. Now, there's a receiver he can throw it to, and granted, he's going to get tackled, at the 45-yard line, but at least it'll be positive yards, but he doesn't even throw to him because he's just so focused on Cortland Sutton that he misses the check down. The check down at least would have been a 2nd and 5. because he doesn't even see that, and he can't throw deep because his feet aren't proper. At least Willson understands his feet aren't proper. He just takes a sack, and I'll say this with Willson too. He doesn't throw interceptions, but what he does do is take sacks. And it's like pick your poison. You got a quarterback that throws picks, or do you got one that gets sacks? So, in my opinion, this was a sack that never had to be. It's just an all-around bad by Russell Willson. And perhaps when he feels more comfortable with the timing, to like Cortland Sutton, that could have been a big play if he just would have hung with it. I think that would have been a big play. It is a bit dicey because, he is somewhat covered, but he should be able to get that ball. Wilson's with the big arm and all that. He should have at least got it to his check down. All right, because of the Russell Wilson sack, they're faced with a 2nd and 13 at the Bronco 37. Again, abandon the run, and they go into throw mode. This is a play that I believe is a flawed design and receiver combo here. This receiver on the inside left, and I don't know who he is. I'm not really certain. This receiver really, there should be an unspoken rule that would help the Denver Broncos out. They're giving this particular receiver a lot of space. And what this receiver needs to do is, once he gets to the 45, he needs to be ready to indicate to Willson that he's eligible to catch this football. And Willson needs to be, doing his reads. The offensive line gives him time, and he needs to start, reading. But what the receiver does is he just keeps running and runs right into the coverage, which is ridiculous, before he turns around. You don't wait till you're right up at the coverage. A play may be designed a certain way, but there's certain things that as a coach, you have to give the players, you got to coach them to recognize, hey, these guys are giving me a lot of space. I've got 5 yards already. I just turn the ball. Maybe I get a couple more yards when they close in. And then we're talking about a 3rd and 3 at this point. But the receiver just runs right into the coverage, then turns around. It's totally absurd. I don't get it. If I'm coaching a team, it's like just certain unspoken rules. Like, hey, if they're going to give you all that space, don't run into the coverage. Use that space to your advantage. You turn around, that gives your offensive line a break too. You're not having to hold up and wait for this guy to, I don't know why you would turn around when you're right next to the coverage. It baffles me. Again, like I said, I don't care if you're Tom Brady, Mr. Fantastic, best of the best of the best. You got to treat quarterbacks like as your defense, whether the receiver, everybody has to make the job on the quarterback as absolute easy as possible. And you do that, good things happen. But in this case, again, at the 45, the guy should have planted, stopped, and hey, and that ball should have been out too. Because Wilson's got to, survey the field. He's got time to survey the field. That's what he's got to do. But yeah, that could have been a really nice pickup. The receiver doesn't make himself available. It's just the bottom line. It's just, there's players that know to do this. There's teams that coach this, and the Broncos just don't have it, man. Well, piggybacking off the last play, lightning strikes twice for the Denver Broncos. There's a bit of luck here with a good play design. The DB breaks the cardinal rule, and that is he gets tangled up with his own player. You never do that. You're really, as a DB, you got to understand space. Understanding space is so paramount. Anyway, he gets tangled up. It gives Jerry Jeudy all this space, all this room, and that's an easy read for Russell Willson. All right, 1st and 10 at the San Francisco 40. All right, let's abandon the run again and just throw a quick pass. Unfortunately, there's a trend with Russell Willson with the Broncos, and it's been throwing the ball late. It's another example of it. He throws, right when Jeudy turns around, that ball should be there. He doesn't have to be there 100 miles an hour, but it needs to be there quick because it's late. The DB is just able to, or the linebacker, I'm not sure who this is with San Francisco, but the defender can just easily knock the ball away. It's just not executed very well by Russell Willson. All right, after an unsuccessful running play, Denver has a 3rd and 9 at the San Francisco 39. This is similar to a couple 3 plays ago. Again, it's the same 4 wide receivers, same pattern. This time the receiver, which is number 12, does look back. The problem is Russell Wilson needs to work the pocket. He needs to step up in the pocket. He stays back, and instead of, while his receivers are making their run, start working up into the pocket. He has one. Russell Wilson, because he's not stepping up in the pocket, has to take his feet out of the throwing position, because there's a edge rusher who gets around and gets back up, and he's got to step up, because if he doesn't, he's going to get ankle tackled. So again, this is wherewithal on Russell Wilson's part. He needs to become more pocket savvy. This is Russell Wilson not stepping up into the pocket really is the problem here. This next pass play is just a simple pitch and catch. It's 2nd and 3 on the Denver 6. They just want to pick up a first down. So Cortland Sutton acts like he's going to haul ass up. Obviously, the coverage is soft. So he just, does a little curl and, little turnaround pitch and catch. Pretty simple. All right. Another 3rd down, or I just don't get this, except for one thing. Russell Wilson has got to get this running around out of his system. This guy needs to work the pocket. Just step up, step up, step up. Don't run. He's got actually 2, but one guy is just throw the ball to him. And then he takes a shot himself. And by him running like he is, it's drawing that linebacker closer to his receiver in reaction to him running. It's just something Russell Wilson absolutely has got to get out of his system. He's got to learn how to step up into the pocket and work the pocket. And here we have the infamous shuttle pass play, playing a little bit of rugby football. I love it. It's so every play's crazy. Anyway, this would have never had to have been. And, give Russell Wilson and Gordon credit for being, this heads up off the cuff play. A play that never should have happened, because Glasgow lost his man and he damn near sacks Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson at the very last millisecond shuttles the ball off to Gordon, and Gordon in San Francisco isn't in any position to defend it. Gordon basically gets to the same place the pass that, had he been able to work the pocket and thrown the ball, would have got. So the Broncos dodged a bullet. Basically, it was damn near a sack. Well, after a lucky play, things just, the dice rolling just right and some heads upness on a couple of players, everything starts to go downhill, winding down the second half. Here the Broncos get themselves in a 2nd and 16, and we have Russell Wilson, of course, not reading the defense, but that's okay. This was going to Cortland Sutton the whole way, and it is the right read and for this play design, and it's just that Cortland Sutton didn't come up with the football. Wilson, I know you could probably argue maybe tweak here or there, but it's a ball that Sutton should catch. It was thrown with anticipation. It was thrown right as he went, actually before he went into his break. It was right at him. You got to be able to come up with these balls. And, we said at the off season that the Broncos, Cortland Sutton is about as good as it gets for the Broncos. But, is he on, he still has to prove he's up in the upper echelon. His stats so far hasn't shown it. And he can't drop balls like that. That's what sets the elite receivers. They catch those. Especially, 2nd and 16, it's almost like a 3rd down, and just drops the football. So in the last series, the Broncos squandered that series and that drive. So we're now in like a 2-minute drill situation, even though there's, I think, less than a minute. On this play, I'm a bit confused with the play design. You have Hinton on the lower part of the screen going to the sideline. He's the only one working the sideline. That I don't understand. Cortland Sutton also does a curl route on the top of the screen. Don't understand that. Just don't understand the play design when you got to work the sidelines. Hinton is covered, so that's not going anywhere. So this is just a dump off and run to the sideline. And we'll see what happens next, all right? Now we're in like a 2-minute drill kind of thing. Granted, there's only some seconds on, but you can win this game by 1 second. You get a receiver, works the sideline, gets open, but Russell Wilson just refuses to work the pocket, plant your feet, work the pocket, plant your feet, plant your feet, plant your feet, plant your feet, so you can chuck the ball deep. And he's got a guy open. but he's in no way in a position because he's not, working the pocket. Get up there, set your feet, set your feet, set your feet, so you can make that throw. He doesn't. And what's even more aggravating to me is Garrett Bowles literally takes this guy down. How the ref doesn't throw a flag on this is unbelievable. It's no wonder that fans from other teams were making videos about this. I mean, this wasn't a hold. It was just a wrestling takedown. It's just bad football all the way around. This is, and these are the, when you talk about being a upper echelon team, you got to be clutch, and this is like anti-clutch. It's bad. It's just so bad. And the last passing play, the very next play, the very last play of the half, poetically ends with Garrett Bowles actually being called for holding. I guess the ref felt it was so blatant that there's only a second left anyway, or whatever, how many seconds left. You can't even make this up. It ends definitely on a thud. Look, this is a very comprehensive video. Nobody's going to make a video like this. It's very time consuming, but, people want to know what's going on. And you know what? You can disagree, but at least you got film to look at. You can see for yourself, and you can choose to see what you want to see and choose not to see what you don't want to see, I guess, for some people. But what I see is definitely Russell Wilson needs to really get grounded as a pocket quarterback. He doesn't have his feet. I don't know what it is, but he refuses to, work the pocket, plant your feet, make that throw. I mean, he's missing out on a lot of throws by giving up on the pocket. I think that's one of the biggest things. Russell Wilson really needs to start, Tom Brady up a bit. He needs to Tom Brady up a bit, and that will suit him well. Scrambling around and stuff, you're not in college anymore, and this ain't college ball. This is the big leagues. As far as the offensive line, Garrett Bowles is way overpaid. That's another, this is an organization that overpays for so many people. So, take it as you will. I think that it starts around Russell Wilson settling down, becoming a more pocket quarterback. I think there needs to be better play design in certain ways, in certain capacities too. So that's the long and the short of it. I hope you get something out of this.